They can only manipulate what you don't control. Your need to be liked, your fear of abandonment, your unhealed wounds. That's where they enter. They don't force you. They don't overpower you. They simply steer you through your own blind spots. But here's the truth. You can seal every door. You can build a mind. They can't access a self. They can't trigger a presence. They can't move. Not by fighting harder, but by reacting less. Because manipulation doesn't require power. It requires your participation. In this video, you'll learn how to become psychologically untouchable, to see every tactic, block every angle, and remain absolutely unshaken. This is psychological resistance. And once you master it, you become a fortress they can't enter. 1. Why most people are easy to manipulate. Most people aren't weak, they're just exposed, wide open, unshielded, and the worst part, they don't even know it. Because manipulation doesn't need violence, it doesn't even need lies, it just needs access to your emotions, to your patterns, to your need to be seen. You want approval, they use it. You fear rejection, they weaponize it. You crave closure, they delay it until you break. That's how it works. They don't force you to move. They place pressure on the exact spots you've never fortified. Here are the 3 entry points that manipulators love. 1. Uncontrolled emotion. When you haven't trained your reactions, you become predictable. They say something small, you flare. They withdraw affection. You chase. They question your worth. You explain. And just like that, you're inside their frame. 2. The need to be understood. You keep explaining yourself, trying to prove your good intent, trying to fix their perception of you, but every time you do, you hand them the power to define you, because you're chasing validation, and they're controlling when or if you get it. 3. Fear of disconnection. You fear being cut off, so you tolerate disrespect. You accept mixed signals. You stay in emotionally unstable spaces just to avoid being alone. They sense that fear and use it to keep you compliant. This is why most people are easy to control, not because they're not smart, but because they haven't locked the doors. They haven't trained their psychological resistance. And in a world full of social tactics, emotional pressure, and hidden agendas, that's a dangerous vulnerability. But here's the shift. Once you understand the access points, you can start sealing them. You don't need to become aggressive. You just need to become unavailable to control, and that begins with a new principle. 2. The core principle of psychological resistance. Psychological resistance isn't about force. It's not about being more dominant. It's not about fighting back harder. It's about being unmovable, unshaken, unavailable for manipulation, because here's the core principle. They can't manipulate what doesn't react. Read that again. They can't hook what doesn't bite. They can't twist what doesn't engage. They can't control what doesn't respond. Most manipulation isn't about logic. It's about provoking you emotionally. They don't want truth. They want reaction. Your reaction gives them information, gives them access, gives them control. So what happens when you stop reacting? When your energy becomes neutral? When you don't defend, explain, chase, or flinch? They hit a wall. No mirror, no entry point, no rhythm to dance with. And suddenly, they're exposed. And you're in control. This is why silence is your shield. It creates space. It blocks impulse. It kills momentum. Silence isn't weakness. It's interruption. It forces the manipulator to sit in their own pressure without your energy feeding it. Psychological resistance lives in 3 words. 1. Stability. You're not easily shifted. Your emotional state doesn't spike under pressure. You regulate, you observe. You remain grounded no matter what's thrown at you. 2. Neutrality. You don't take the bait. You hear their attack, but don't defend. You feel the tension, but don't match it. You see the setup, but don't enter the game. Neutral doesn't mean passive. It means unavailable. 3. Stillness. You give them nothing to work with. No rush to respond, no over-explaining, no anxiety to fix the moment. You let it hang. Let them squirm. Let them reveal more as you stay centered. Because when you don't flinch, they expose themselves. This is the power of psychological resistance. You don't need to fight for control. You just stop surrendering it. You don't have to outsmart them. You just stop feeding them. You become a mirror. That reflects nothing back. A wall. They can't climb. A silence. That makes their entire strategy collapse. 3. The 5 layers of psychological armor. Psychological resistance isn't built in a day. It's forged, layer by layer, until nothing gets through. Here are the 5 layers of armor that turn you into a fortress, not just protected, but unreadable, untouchable, unshakable. 1. Emotional neutrality, the first barrier. The most common point of entry is emotional volatility. If they can trigger you, they can steer you. So the first layer is simple. Stop giving away your emotions. That doesn't mean suppression. It means discipline. You feel dash, but you don't act. You observe dash, but you don't flinch. You master the pause, the breath, the still expression, the cold tone, because neutrality under pressure makes manipulators lose their rhythm. 2. Narrative clarity. Own your story. Manipulators rewrite your reality. They twist your words. They frame your intentions. They tell you who you are. But this only works if you're unsure of your own narrative. So the second layer is internal certainty. You must know who you are, what you believe, what you stand for, what you will and will not allow. When your story is clear, they can't insert theirs. You're no longer editable. 3. Cognitive interruption. Break the reflex. Manipulation thrives on auto-reaction. They say something, you respond immediately. They push a button, you trigger instantly. That's why the third layer is cognitive interruption. It's the microsecond pause, where you stop the script. You feel the pull, but don't move. Instead, you ask, what's really happening here? Whose frame is this? Do I need to respond? This breaks the cycle, and once the rhythm is broken, you regain control. 4. Boundary precision. No is a full sentence. Most people set boundaries, then explain them, justify them, apologize for them. That's weakness. The fourth layer is precision, clear boundaries, no explanation. You don't need to raise your voice. You don't need to over-explain. A cold no, a silent disengagement, a redirect without debate. This tells them, you don't get to define my access points. Your boundaries become walls, not suggestions. 5. Disengagement power. Walk without drama. The final layer isn't just resistance, it's exit. Clean, cold, quiet. You don't need to announce your withdrawal. You don't need closure. You don't need them to understand. You simply remove your energy. Completely. No protest, no final message, no emotional performance, just absence. And in that absence, you reclaim all your power, stack these 5 layers, and you become unreadable, unprogrammable, impenetrable. They won't know what you're thinking. They won't know what you're feeling. They won't even know how to start the game, because you never step onto the board. 4. Real manipulation, scenarios, and how to deflect. Theory means nothing if you can't use it when the game is live. So let's go straight to the battlefield. Here are 4 common manipulation tactics, and how to shut each one down without ever raising your voice. 1. Gaslighting, the reality distorter. They make you question your own memory, your perception, your emotions. They say, "You're too sensitive. That never happened. You're imagining things." The goal, make you doubt yourself, so they can define reality for you. Your move? Don't argue, don't defend. Just anchor yourself in your own clarity. Write it down, say it once, then go quiet. They feed off your confusion, but if you stop engaging, their illusion collapses. 2. Guilt tripping, emotional blackmail. They use your kindness against you, twist your empathy into obligation. You never support me. After all I've done for you, if you really cared, you'd... Your move, recognize the tactic instantly. Drop the emotional rope and respond with flat presence. Try this. I hear your emotion, but I won't be moved by guilt. Delivered cold, without explanation, it paralyzes the tactic instantly. 3. Love bombing, manipulative affection. They flood you with praise, validation, attention. Too fast, too intense, too perfect. Then slowly, they flip, withdraw. Control. The goal? Hook your nervous system to their approval, so you'll chase it once it's gone. Your move? Never let external validation regulate your inner state. Enjoy the moment, but stay detached. Remind yourself, fast intensity isn't connection. It's control disguised as closeness. 4. Triangulation, divide and control. They pull in a third party, compare you, pit people against each other, create subtle competition or doubt. She doesn't act that way. Even they think you're overreacting. Your move? Exit the triangle. Don't compete. Don't defend your side. Just say, I don't do comparisons. That's your frame, not mine. Then go silent. Triangulation dies. When you remove yourself from the geometry, in each case, you don't fight the manipulator. You starve the tactic. No overreaction. No emotional escalation. No struggle. Just clean detachment, clear framing, cold presence, because the moment they see, you're immune to the pattern. They have nothing left to play with. 5. How to train. Resistance daily. Psychological resistance isn't built in one breakthrough. It's built in repetition, discipline, refusal. Every day, you'll face small triggers, little manipulations, tiny invitations to lose control, and every time you hold the line, you harden your mind. Here are 3 daily practices. to train your immunity, until it becomes who you are. 1. Practice the pause. Break the emotional loop. Before you speak, pause. Before you react, pause. Before you defend, pause. Even one breath between stimulus and response can save you from playing their game. Each time you pause, you reclaim control, not just of the situation, but of yourself. Make the pause your reflex. Let stillness interrupt the script. 2. Observe without owning. Emotional tracking drill. Pick one conversation per day. Don't speak much. Just watch. Track emotions. Spot triggers. Watch how people try to bait reactions. In others, in you. But stay detached. You're not in the scene. You're watching the psychology. This practice rewires your mind. To analyze rather than absorb. To observe without owning. And soon, you'll be able to read everything without being touched by anything. 3. Record your reactivity. Build pattern awareness. At the end of each day, ask yourself, when did I feel emotionally pulled? What made me react? What did I give away? Then write down the moment, the feeling, the cost. This builds pattern recognition. And once you see your own triggers, you can start closing the doors they use to enter. You can't defend what you don't track, so track everything. Master these 3 practices. And you won't just resist manipulation, you'll stop attracting it, because manipulators smell emotional availability. And when you go silent inside, they lose interest. No signal, no reaction, no access. 6. Final CTA. The strongest people don't fight harder, they react less. They don't shout louder, they go silent. They don't win with force, they win with presence. Because manipulation isn't about power, it's about response. When you stop giving it, the game ends. You don't need to outthink them. You don't need to expose them. You just need to become unavailable. Unavailable to bait. Unavailable to guilt. Unavailable to being rewritten. This is psychological resistance, and it makes you untouchable. So here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, don't defend yourself. Don't explain yourself. Don't chase resolution. Pause. Hold your frame. Let others reveal themselves, while you reveal nothing. Let stillness do the talking. Let neutrality become your shield. And once you master that, you're not just resisting manipulation. You're training others to never even try. But resistance is just one side. Now it's time to learn how to create magnetic pull without saying a word, because when you make yourself less available, your presence becomes more valuable. That's next. In the next video, you'll learn the hidden power of scarcity and how to use it to control attention, energy, and influence.